Right lads, and man, it's Kebab here. Games are great. We got things like Smash Ultimate, Mario Bros. DS, Halo Reach. Anyways, not every game is good or bad. Many sit in this sort of grey area in between. An area I've coined terribly mediocre. Very creative. I know. Now everyone has at least a few of these games. However, I have made a hobby out of collecting these sort of things. And today, we're going to take a look at a couple of them. I don't think couple is the right word. You know what I mean. First off, we'll start off with a fairly new title. Nickelodeon Kart Racers. Now I had heard of this game before, and never really thought much of it, until I saw it on discount, where I quickly bought it up. As someone who grew up watching Nickelodeon, I was pretty hopeful about this game. However, once I saw the character roster... Where's Carl Weezer? Not only is the character roster very small at 12, key Nickelodeon franchises are missing like Jimmy Neutron, Fairly Odd Parents, and Danny Phantom. There was a large amount of tracks, however, all of these use the same colour scheme of green, orange and grey, and are extremely plain. The gameplay is what you'd expect from a kart racer, however, with stiffer controls. The gameplay isn't bad, but is heavily inspired by Mario Kart to the point of copying it, with items like the spatula and acorn imitating the blue shell and bomb respectively. The bullshit of the items is also arguably worse than that of Mario Kart Wii, due to the incredibly short cooldown time in which you can get hit by items. Overall, for a kid this isn't a bad game, but at the end of the day, just buy Mario Kart 8, it's a far superior game. Super Dungeon Bros, another 2D dungeon scroller type game, similar to Minecraft Dungeons. Why won't this game leave me alone? The game is... okay. I mean, it's a hack and slash type game. Not a very unique game by any regard, but at the same time, not terrible. Fitting the criteria to be on this list. The game's main characters are pretty obviously ripped straight from Castle Crashers, a far superior and more fun game. Dungeon scrollers aren't really my thing. Personally, I don't see the appeal to mashing a single button for 15 minutes. The genre is more geared towards a younger audience, and this game definitely reflects it with its style and simplistic gameplay. It's not a horrible game by any regard. The controls are smooth, the gameplay engaging. However, there are much better games on the market, with this game simply just being boring. However, for anybody looking to make a let's play, I would recommend this game, as you probably won't get a copyright claim for the music. Mainly because there is none. Battlefield Hardline. It honestly hurts me to put this game on the list, but at the same time, f*** this game. The game takes the Battlefield formula and condenses it into an oversimplified cops and robbers experience. The campaign is a boring cliché cop drama. You can see every twist from a mile away, and it honestly ruins the experience. However, the multiplayer is extremely fun. Yeah, it's simple and in some cases dumbed down. However, the gunplay is incredibly smooth and fast paced, alongside a variety of fun modes like Blood Money and Heist. This game can offer many hours of hectic gameplay. However, I'd recommend most Battlefield games over this. Both 1 and 4 are much better games. Speaking of cliché plots, The Technomancer. I got this game for free digitally years ago and didn't touch it up until now. And I regret ever doing so. This game is honestly one of the most boring games I've ever played. From about 30 seconds in, the story just didn't interest me at all. Post-apocalyptic world, hero guys with superpowers, it's just an idea that's been absolutely done to death. The gameplay is fine, but it's nothing at all special. Your character is so sluggish in comparison to the enemies, which made it genuinely frustrating to play. So much so that I stopped playing within 30 minutes. This game almost didn't make the list due to how boring and bad it is, but it's still okay enough to be classified as mediocre. I think I'm noticing a pattern. In comparison, we have Rise Son of Rome, an overall better experience. Yes, I did indeed just say that. The concept here is very similar. Another linear third-person brawler. However, the story here is far more compelling. We follow Marius, a Roman general, as he defends Rome from barbarian invaders. The cutscenes here are very well made, besides a few hiccups and glitches, and the plot overall is more compelling with its focus on Roman mythology. But there is a big however here. The gameplay is incredibly repetitive. Yeah, it's more complex than the Technomancer, but it's also not. Colours flashing your enemies to tell you what button to press, and combat just isn't engaging anymore after the first level. Even the executions, however brutal, soon start to repeat themselves over and over and over. Likewise with the Technomancer, after the first 2 levels, I just couldn't compel myself to continue on. WRC6. I think you guys knew something like this would be on the list. Now, I've never really been a huge racing game fan. Personally, if it ain't Need for Speed Underground, I tend to disregard its existence. However, I was pretty surprised with this game. The racing here is pretty intense, with plenty of sharp corners, which is a problem because braking is a concept completely barren to me. As a rallying game, the driving does feel realistic to the sport, with your car constantly feeling like it's slipping and struggling to grip the surface. We also have a co-driver giving us instructions, none of which I understand, so I kinda just sat there like, yeah, gotcha, yeah. So why is this mediocre? Well, the game itself fills a very slim niche, that of rally enthusiasts. Paired with the fact that there isn't really that much to this game, it's basically a bare bones rally sim. Not inherently bad, but in no way special either. Anthem, probably the biggest flop of 2019. This game is a looter shooter like Destiny and The Division, neither of which I was particularly fond of, but this game, yeah, I still don't like it. The idea behind these games is of course to pay for better weapons and upgrades. The problem is, the vast majority of people don't want to pour money into a game that already cost them $60, meaning it becomes an endless grind for most of the player base. When you force people to play the same recycled missions over and over, along with pretty clunky controls, it tends to kill the community pretty fast, which is exactly what happened here. Now this game is due to receive updates, however, I believe it's too little, too late, and this game will forever rot in GameStop bargain bins. And finally, The Sims 4. Although this game does have its fans, it received largely mediocre response upon release. On PC this game works, but on console this game has a lot of stuttering with very clunky controls. There is definitely a lot to do here, especially in terms of the size of the world, the house building and customization, alongside the character interactions working pretty flawlessly. However, most people will see this as a step back from The Sims 3. With 5 years between the games, you'd expect a considerable upgrade. However, its predecessor is a better character customizer and open world, while The Sims 4 is in general a step back for the franchise, securing its place in the Mediocrity Hall of Fame. So what have we learned today? Well, first off, EA makes a lot of these things. As I said before, many of these aren't exactly bad games. Most of them either have better alternatives or just simply have no incentive to buy them. Not every game's cut out to be a hit, and many of these games will sit in this middle ground for their entire lives, not getting much praise, but also not getting much hate at the same time. For the most part. So to finish off, this game isn't bad. It's just extremely incredibly and woefully mediocre. And it's